Hello, everyone. It's a day with your fertility specialist. It's good to have you with us today, Friday. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. We're talking about alcohol, smoking, vaping, and fertility. Yes, because today is Friday, like a lot of this will be happening today. Yeah, the club stars, bring your chair close. We have a lot to discuss this afternoon. Call up someone, share this link with someone. I remain your host, Ruth Ogogo, and I'm excited to be with you today on this version of A Day with Your Fertility Specialist. Yes, we have with us again today Dr. Kenneth Eguda. A lot of us know Dr. Ken. For those of us that are joining for the first time, just a little about Dr. Ken. He's a consultant gynecologist. He's an IVF specialist, not just an IVF specialist, a renowned one at that, and someone that is excellent at what he does. He's a minimal access surgeon. He's a reproductive biologist. Yeah, one of the CRISPR pioneers.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's good to have you with us today. So we're talking about alcohol, smoking, vaping, and fertility. Drop your questions, your thoughts, your opinion in the comment section. We'll definitely attend to them appropriately. Okay, yes, we know definitely we feel this should have an impact on fertility, but maybe you should tell us some little about what this alcohol, smoking, vaping, what really is involved, maybe what the substance contained in it to them before we now talk about its impact on fertility.
Oh wow, you've asked so many questions
In
in
one.
one sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to be with you on this show and good to talk
Okay.
about these subjects. The clients always wonder why we ask them whether or not they smoke
Mm,
or consume alcohol.
yeah.
And sometimes they don't tell the truth. They just say they don't smoke. In fact,
Mm,
I had seen a client before, a couple
okay.
planning to get pregnant.
Okay.
You know, and then asked the male partner whether or not he smokes. He said no. Then spontaneously, his wife knocked him in the head. But she did that jokingly,
Yeah.
just gave him a knock in the head. Come on, man. Can you just say the truth? I made light the whole issue and
Mm,
laughed about it. People don't own up. But why aren't they owning up?
mm,
Because, well, happens a lot.
mm.
So the patient or the client always hoard this information,
Information.
whether they drink, how much they drink,
Yeah.
whether they smoke,
Mm.
on how much they
They
smoke.
smoke. Mm.
Often they say, "Oh, once in a while." Then you
Mm.
still get that eye from the wife. Come on, man. Once in a while.
Mm.
It's not just 2 bottles per day.
Oh,
Or
wow. And that's once in a while.
all right.
Mm.
So these are very important social behaviors,
Mm.
that have effect not just on fertility, reproduction, but on health, life, longevity,
Yeah.
and accidents,
Mm.
a lot. You can't count the number of men that alcohol has killed,
Yeah, that's
either
right.
having driving under influence of alcohol and have very
Mm.
ghastly motor accidents, or
Yeah.
the number of people who have come down with cancers
Mm.
following consumption of nicotine, smoke, cigarettes,
Yeah.
and all the allies that have to do
Mm.
with smoking.
Yeah.
So alcohol doesn't contain so much
Okay.
except for uh, basically water and ethanol.
Okay.
That's what most alcohol contain, you know. And then some other chemicals are added for preservatives and all of that, you know. But then what they do is that they get to the brain,
Mm.
you know, alter the sensorium in the brain and makes the
Yeah.
brain get shrunken sometimes,
Mm. Wow.
and then you get tipsy, you get drunk, and you misbehave and all of that. Yes, but
Hmm.
it alters the metabolism in the
Hmm.
body,
Wow.
and this is how it affects the general function of the body. But because it has most of its effect on the brain, it dehydrates the brain.
Wow. Hmm.
Yes. So if you look at the brain of somebody who is a chronic alcoholic, for instance, the brain is usually dehydrated,
Hmm.
and then that makes the brain perform suboptimally, you know and then
Wow.
I'm not saying those who drink are not intelligent too. They
Hmm.
could be very intelligent, but they could be much more intelligent if they
Yeah.
don't have those
Hmm.
substances affecting the brain. Or
Yeah.
if they drink once in a while, it's still okay, but then getting to that point where you are
So
all about
addicted to.
alcohol, your
Hmm.
bloodstream, you know screams alcohol and all of that, so the brain gets shrunken, and these cycles of shrinking and relaxing happens in the brain, and then it gives them this sensorion of always being euphoric.
Hmm.
Then all the challenges that happen with loss of cognitive functions come in. Dementia, early onset
Hmm.
of dementia
Oh wow.
happens, and all of that. So alcohol does this. And for the woman, for instance, when you have so much of alcohol in the system, you know of course it can affect the baby you're going to give birth to. you
Hmm.
know but then what's more interesting is even the smoke, and now the vaping.
Hmm.
you know
Oh
we've
no.
watched the European society, for instance, modify lifestyles of the public, you
Yes.
know try to discourage people from smoking
Hmm.
the regular cigarettes, and now they went into vaping.
Vaping.
And young boys are vaping, young
It's
girls are vaping, adults are
just
vaping,
very.
old guys
Hmm.
are vaping. And if you look at the components of vaping, for instance, the vaping has the main liquid, the vaping liquid,
Yeah.
and the additives. That's the flavors, the
Hmm.
flavors.
Yeah.
So now the flavors are very detrimental. I'll talk about
Wow.
the flavor in a bit.
Hmm.
Then the e-liquid itself, which is a
Hmm.
component of vaping,
Yeah.
you know, the liquid in the canister, that
Yes.
the vape
Yes.
has its own components, and these
Wow.
components
Hmm.
are very terrible. I was studying the components.
Hmm.
Some of them have over 30 components.
Wow.
Yes, as
Oh
small
no.
as it looks, over
Hmm.
30 components. And I was reading these components. Imagine my days as a young undergraduate doing chemistry. I don't want to know what these components
Oh
are.
my
For instance,
goodness.
formaldehyde
Hmm.
is one of the components of
Oh
the vaping
wow.
liquid. That's the e-liquid, the
Wow.
e-cigar. Formaldehyde,
Hmm.
acetaldehyde. You know what formaldehyde is? This is the substance they use in embalming coffee. I mean, and dead
Cups.
bodies.
Yeah.
Formaldehyde. I remember
Hmm.
being in
Wow.
a cadaver dissection classroom in the medical school
Hmm.
so many years ago. You hardly could stand the
This.
stench,
Oh my
depending on
goodness.
the concentration of formaldehyde in the solution.
Yeah.
Use it as a preservative of corpse of dead bodies,
Hmm.
you know, and then you use it as a component of substance that people should smoke and inhale. So it's one of the components.
Wow.
Acetaldehyde, which is almost like formaldehyde,
Yeah.
is also
Yeah.
one of the
Wow.
components.
Oh my
Then
goodness.
you have acrolein.
Wow.
Now, acrolein is a substance that is used to kill weeds on plants. I mean, in the farm.
Yeah.
Acrolein.
Yeah.
It's used as a herbicide
Oh my goodness.
to kill weeds in the plant. It's one of the major components of this vaping
Vaping solution.
solution. You
Yeah.
have toluene. Toluene is a byproduct after refining crude oil.
Oh my God. Wow.
This is component of the substance, the e-liquid.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so there's several
Heavy, heavy.
several
Wow.
components.
Hmm.
Then the names are just high, I mean, chemical names and all
Yeah.
of that. There's
Yeah.
no you can tell the names in pidgin, but
Hmm.
these are some of the components, in the vaping concentrates.
Yes.
Then go to talk about the flavors they use.
Oh my goodness.
The flavors, you think because they're just flavor to give it a good smell,
Hmm.
you think they are healthy. It's also very amazing to find out they are not healthy.
Wow.
They're not healthy. Like for instance, menthol is one of the healthy vapors that you see. I mean, the flavor use
Yeah.
menthol.
Yeah.
So some have scent like menthol.
Mm.
Some are vanillin.
Mm.
Vanillin, cinnamomylene.
Oh
Sorry,
wow.
I don't know. I
So
don't like
much.
calling these big names if it's not in a professional class.
Yeah.
So these are some of the vapors.
Mm.
That I use. Then some of these vapors I use as chemicals on the farm
Oh my
to
goodness.
kill other lives.
Yeah.
And then what makes you think the human will take it without
Exactly.
having an effect? Yes, it
Yeah.
doesn't affect human, but you get so used to it that it just tips you. You understand? So these are some of and then you could, for those who are listening, they can just go online and Google, and just the information is in public domain actually.
Mm.
Just check out the components of this e-cigar
Yeah.
that the world deceives you to believe it's safer than
Mm.
cigarettes.
Oh goodness.
So yes, they contain basically the same things with cigarette too.
Mm.
Cigarette, they contain basically the same thing with the cigarette.
Wow.
And then people consume all of this, and you call it e-cigarettes in the name of safety and all of that. I think that's the same thing goes with the shisha. Is
Mm.
it shisha or shashi they call it?
Shisha.
Shisha, shashi. That's the Arab
Yeah.
brand of cigarette, high life.
Yeah.
So these are some of the components. What you use in embalming dead bodies and killing pests and weeds on the plant,
Yeah.
and I mean on farmlands.
Mm.
Then somebody deceives us and puts it in a container, and you
Yeah.
call it e-cigarette.
Oh.
And then because it's called e-cigarette, you think it has nicotine. Nicotine is also part of you feel is healthy, and then you're going to consume it. You're going to live on it, and these days, it's like a fashion trend.
Mm.
If you're not
Yeah.
doing it, you're not
Really.
doing something right.
Yeah.
So you see underage people, vaping, overage people vaping,
Oh, all
boys and girls
categories.
all alike
Yeah.
vaping. So the components, to be very honest, are deadly components.
Mm.
It's amazing how people even survive vaping. you know
Honestly.
so those are some of the components. They are not good for plant life, they're not good for animal life.
How
How
much
comes they
more
are good
for
for
exactly?
humans?
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm.
So these are some of the components, and the components are quite many. You have products from petroleum,
Oh, goodness
products
gracious.
from all kinds of
On a norm, you will
chemicals.
not just go and take petrol and
Yeah,
drink.
you know.
So
So these are some of the components of this thing.
the substances
The
used.
glycerols
Um,
are part of it.
mm,
All the components of, so those are some of the components. The components are not interesting to talk about. For those who do chemistry, for instance, who major in chemistry, they can tell us more about what these components are. I don't know why they are safe to be consumed.
consumed. Yeah.
Yes, those people producing it actually are not responsible for whatever happens to you.
True.
They're not responsible for whatever happened to you when you take, when you vape, when you smoke, or when you drink.
Very true.
If you watch advertorium for alcohol, for instance, say drink responsibly, right? That's
Yeah.
you should take it small, and it's not for children less than
Mm-mm.
18 years.
Yeah.
Then I remember so many years ago when I was in India. I love the society. They consume a lot of alcohol and tobacco and cigarette and all the
No.
smoking things there, but the government fights it, at least appears to be fighting against it. So if you're watching a movie, for instance, and then there is a scene when someone is smoking, you see a long write-up.
Okay.
The Ministry of Health, this says tobacco smoking is not good. They
Mm-mm.
disclaim it immediately.
Immediately.
So they
Wow.
don't want to take responsibility for airing what derails the public.
Even on all
Uh,
this smoke, the regular cigarettes,
exactly.
they
They say
usually write
smokers are
are
liable
liable
to
to die
die
young. And
young.
like, you wonder why people still. Oh my goodness.
You're liable to die young. Okay,
Yeah.
now look at it.
Oh
Why won't
goodness.
why won't smokers be liable to die young? You're consuming
Oh
substances
my
that is
goodness.
a byproduct of petroleum,
Yeah.
crude oil, substances used for embalmment of corpse, dead bodies,
Yeah.
substance used as pesticides and herbicides, all contained in one structure or
Yeah.
one item called
Exactly.
cigar
Yeah.
or a vaping canister.
Yeah.
So they're liable to die young. So that's to say you have been warned,
Exactly, but
but I damned the warning. I vape and smoke and
exactly, yeah,
all of
like,
that. So
oh no,
now it doesn't just affect, I know your concerns are fertility, but I think life
it's
is much more important than
very
fertility.
true,
You
very
know,
true, yeah.
cancer of the tongue,
Oh my
cancer
goodness,
of the larynx, well,
yeah,
for layman, the throat,
mm,
the voice box,
yeah,
cancer of the lungs, you know, cancer of the ovaries.
oh my
All
goodness,
cancers, actually, apart
yeah,
from the pediatric childhood cancers,
mm-mm.
have smoking as one of the
Risk
risk factors,
factor,
and alcohol as some of
yeah,
the risk factors of all of this. So you know
yeah,
that you're liable to die young.
and then you
You're
still
liable to have
decide,
cancer of the lungs,
oh
cancer of the
goodness.
chest. If there's, I don't think there's cancer of the chest, for heaven's sake. But if the lungs is in the chest,
Yeah.
oh well,
Well,
I can extrapolate it now
yeah,
as a medical practitioner.
yeah, yeah,
You could have cancer of the bone. So the chest has a bone now.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Different structures in the chest,
Osteosarcoma,
I
call it
know.
osteosarcoma.
Sarcoma, yeah.
The bone is in the ribs,
Mm-mm.
bone in the leg, in the hand. So
Yeah,
osteosarcoma. So smoking cause any of these cancers.
yeah.
Now the good thing is this: the human body has ability to autocorrect itself. As you're giving it a lot of abnormal substances, you know, it corrects itself.
Hmm.
Mutation happens, it corrects itself. But it gets to a point where it may be overwhelmed, or for
Yeah.
the substance you are exposing it to, it causes a kind of mutation that cannot be controlled or corrected by the body.
Hmm.
Then uh, a tumor,
Could
an
just,
autonomous growth,
yeah.
starts growing some part of the
Hmm.
body,
Hmm.
and that's cancer for you there. So these are some of the components in a
Hmm.
nutshell. And they have effect on different
Part
parts
of
of
the
the human
body.
body. So if you want to sort of talk about fertility, I think I'm ready.
Okay, so dear viewers, do you see? Right now, I think I need to give Dr. Ken another award. See the way he analyzed this, like he's been to, I don't know what I would say. He has gone to a training ground where they do analysis of all this substance, and then he has given us so much detail of what is contained in alcohol, in the vaping solution, and the flavor. He has also given us details of what is contained in the cigarettes and all. So you see, there's just so much that is contained. But now we would narrow this down to fertility because we are talking about, well, we're calling today a day with your fertility specialist. So yeah, he has given you a little insight. So you also know that aside your fertility, all these substances have a great impact on your whole well-being. So it's left for you to decide. But now let's talk more about the impact of this on fertility. And it's really it's burdensome that you see a lot of young people, even secondarians,
Hmm.
I think even primary school
Hmm.
children now,
Hmm.
you see them smoking, you see them taking little sips of all this, and you wonder where the world is actually headed. We don't know where our fertility is heading to in the next
Oh yeah.
generation to
Hmm.
come.
That's true.
But well, so let's talk about the impact on female fertility, and then we'll talk about
All
that
right,
for the
let's go
male.
back to smoking now.
Mm,
Or the smoking. One of the components I didn't talk about is carbon monoxide.
okay.
Carbon monoxide is I used to be a very good student of chemistry, man. Yeah, but thank God we've passed that stage now. Carbon monoxide is one of the components of
Mm,
smoking. So you know what carbon monoxide is? If you see a car with a bad engine, for instance, maybe in Africa you have these cars that have not been serviced for a long time,
yeah.
and then maybe the plugs have been coated with soot,
Mm,
and it's not combusting the fuel
yeah,
properly.
yeah.
So you have a lot of smoke, black
Smoke
smoke
coming out
from
from the
the exhaust
exhaust.
of the
Yeah.
car.
Mm.
That's carbon monoxide. If a generating plant also burns fuel, if it's not burning properly, it doesn't. It also bring out black soot. It's
Mm.
carbon monoxide.
Wow.
Carbon monoxide is an oxidative radical.
Wow. Mm.
You know, carbon monoxide. So once you inhale it or you smoke, you puff it, you smoke it. Part of what you're consuming is carbon monoxide. Whether you're doing that's for smoke now, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a volatile organic compound,
Okay.
increase the oxidative radicals in the human body.
Body.
Now it doesn't just affect, now we're concentrating on fertility.
Yeah.
So now what it does is that for the sperms, it makes the production and quality of sperms bad because it increases the oxidative stress in the sperm. And oxidative stress on the sperms, for instance, damage the DNA in the head of the sperms.
Oh, wow.
So you could be smoking and have plenty of sperms, more than what the WHO accepts to be normal. But then the sperms may not be in their optimal condition.
Yeah.
And this is also not to say that smokers don't have kids. They have kids. They may even be more fatal than the regular people who don't
Yeah.
smoke. You understand? But then, for some, the effect is more drastic than
Yeah.
others. And the reason is simple: genetic component and constituent that we all have are different. So
Yes.
different things affect us differently.
Differently.
So it affects the sperms, affects the DNA of sperm. So if you do the sperm analysis and you do a DNA fragmentation of uh, uh, a real smoker's sperm, you'll
Yeah.
see that the fragmentation index is going to be very high.
Wow.
And that means the ability to bring about pregnancy is lowered.
Low. Wow.
His wife could achieve pregnancy, but the ability to bring about pregnancy is lower. And if you ask me, I like stretching. When I take an egg, the female egg, for instance, and I take the female sperm and we analyze, we usually separate them according to quality or morphology.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that the better your eggs and sperms, the better the quality of offsprings that you would have.
Yeah.
It's a common sense, you know. So that is about some of those components. It affects the acrolein, for instance, which is in vaping. Acrolein in vaping. Acrolein in vaping attacks the female eggs.
Wow.
You understand? The acrolein attack the female egg. The toluene attack the female egg. So what they do is that there's what we call program cell death in medicine, in pathology, for instance. So all of these substances build up to cause program cell death. We call it apoptosis. You know, so the eggs die faster and quicker in numbers than they should. So a smoking woman, for instance, it's likely going to have lesser of an ovarian reserve than a woman who doesn't smoke.
Wow.
You understand? So, and then because smoking does so much more than this, it reduces the quality of the eggs, makes it a little difficult to achieve pregnancy, you know, and then it damages the egg. So that's what smoking does. So, and for us, when you get to the point of paying your $10,000 or $15,000 for fertility care, for instance, that's not the cost here anyway.
Yeah.
These are all the things. So we want to optimize your health. So we like you to stay off this thing and go through the period of detoxification so that you give yourself the best chance of achieving pregnancy. You know, so all the components do all of this damage to the human body. The formaldehyde, you know, stress the cells in the human body. Acetaldehyde does that. The vanillin does this. The glycerol does all of these. You know, so it's just bad. This is how it affects the reproduction. And so if these informations is hidden from you, you can't help much more than you know. So it's very, very detrimental to the reproductive capacity or potential of an individual.
Okay, so some people believe that this substance help to improve their sex life. That's why they feel okay. They want to be high so they can perform very well. How true? How true is it? So, what's your opinion about that?
Well, I don't know much about this to speak on.
Okay.
But then, if we look at other social or recreational drugs that people consume, cocaine, for instance, cocaine excites you. You understand? It excites you. It makes you feel you can take up the whole world. And if you're talking about sex life with cocaine, it's clear to me. And a guy can feel that if you line up a chain of women, he can take them down all when he takes that, you know. And the same way that
So is that
sportsmen feel they can conquer the world
mm,
when they sniff cocaine.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think it
So
gives
the
that.
high feeling that they
Yes,
have.
yes, that's that high feeling. You're a superman when you do that. You know,
Okay.
I think the
So
euphoria it gives,
mm,
some brain excitation,
yeah.
is what gives all of those feeling. I
Feeling.
think vaping does that, but to the extent it does, I do not know. Cigarette does that too. The extent it does that also, I cannot tell.
Yeah.
But I think it just gives some level of false confidence.
So for those people that okay, they will say drink responsibly. For such people, is it still detrimental to their reproductive health? So the thing
You
is
know,
a lit.
for medical reasons, I
Yes.
won't tell you that alcohol is bad.
Okay.
You know, it's the frequency and the quantity of alcohol consumed that is bad. Alcohol doesn't have so much substance like the cigarettes. You know, ethanol and water are the major things in alcohol, the major components in
Mm,
alcohol. So when they say drink responsibly, yes, drink responsibly. A little alcohol, it's fine. Periodic alcohol, it's all right. You know, for medical reasons. You know, I mean, there's no medical reason why you should take an alcohol
alcohol,
anyway.
yeah.
I'm just talking based on health. You
Yes.
know, I don't take alcohol. You know, my faith prohibits that. You know, and knowing what it is again, it's detrimental to health. So why do I want to encourage someone to
But
do
I
it?
also think it could be addictive.
Yes, they're all addictive. You know, once you get used to them, you
Yeah.
get to a point where you need to take it as eye opener. You know,
Mm.
when you wake up in the morning and the first thing that comes to
To your
mind
mind
is
is
to take a stick of cigarette or to
mm.
vape or to smoke, even before saying hello to your wife, you're already
You
a
know.
bad addict.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's eye opening. Eye opening is a level of addiction, and
Yes.
to stop it, you need to undergo some rehabilitation,
Nutrition and
or
all.
to have to be a strong man,
Mm.
to stop
And there are some
some
people
of those
that
stuff.
just a little amount is already causing them problems. So
Exactly, exactly.
so it's individualized, I
Yes.
would say.
So that's alcohol. So, but then for reproduction,
Yeah.
there is no level of alcohol that is safe
Mm.
for reproduction. No
Wow.
level of alcohol is safe. All alcohol should be stopped for reproduction. You could get pregnant and not give birth to your kids. It's fine, but it doesn't make it normal for reproduction.
Yeah.
After all, for those who consume alcohol to certain level, they have what we call the fetal baby syndrome. You
Mm.
know, it's kind of syndrome that happen to mothers that consume alcohol
Wow.
while they are pregnant. Okay,
Hmm.
so while they're pregnant, the baby have fetal baby syndrome. You have to give birth to these babies with eye widely spaced apart.
Wow.
Then the bridge of the nose is flat, almost look like a baby having a Down
Down
syndrome.
syndrome.
Then they
Wow.
have problem with the heart. They have problem with the sacrum as
Hmm.
the backbone and some
Wow.
of those things. And then
Hmm.
the mental capacity is
Yeah.
reduced. So that's what it does.
Hmm.
Alcohol fetal syndrome, you know, it does all of that to
So
them.
no amount is safe
There's no
when you're
amount
for
for reproduction
reproduction.
that is safe.
Please take
But
note.
yeah, yeah. But if you want to do it for social reasons, it's all right.
So it gets me wondering, sometimes you have some people that are just should I say unconsciously exposed to this smoking and
I'm in that
all.
category
Yeah.
now.
Because I think people call them passive
Yeah,
smokers.
passive
Yeah.
smokers.
So what do you have to say about that with impact? Does it also have impact on them? Knowing that okay, they're not
Yes,
intentionally
yes,
smoking.
yes. So you're not intentionally smoking, but then you stay close to where smokers do their
Mm,
business. You know, so you're a passive smokers, and to a large extent, you're exposed to the same risk that the
wow.
smokers, if not more, than the
Hmm.
smokers are having. You know,
Wow.
and that's why I like what the United Kingdom is doing in England right now.
Okay.
They're looking at the condition that in the near future, uh, at some certain age you can't have access to cigarettes,
Wow.
and now they've made a ban on public smoking. Yes,
Wow.
ban on public smoking. Smoking is going to be restricted to some certain parlors, certain verandas. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
so that's where you find space to smoke, where you concentrate the smoke, and it doesn't cause havoc to
Mm.
some people. Because I just love how England does this thing. Sometimes, even the coffee, there's some restriction on coffee. You know, so smoking is going to be restricted to certain location or
Wow.
certain building. You
Okay.
know, because you just harm yourself alone if you want to do that, and let others
Yeah,
be spared.
exactly.
So in a football stadium, for instance, you're not expected to smoke.
Wow.
Because You have thousands of people that will be inhaling
Yes.
the same thing you're smoking. So
Yeah.
do that alone, smoke alone, and have the side effect alone.
Alone, so people don't have to suffer for your
Yeah,
sins.
so it affects you when you're close to somebody who smokes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So what's your counsel to young people? Because we know that a lot of young people now are just, in fact, that like you mentioned, you said this is more like it was in vogue. Like they feel like, okay, if you're not doing it, follow for it in the happen. Sort
Mm.
of. So what's your counsel to young people who are neck deep in this substance, and maybe they want a baby in the future, or they are thinking of their reproductive life in the future? What's your counsel to them?
Well, the ultimate counsel is to stop smoking.
Mm,
It's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but it's to
yeah.
stop it. There's nothing good about smoking. It's just nothing good about smoking. So the ultimate counsel is to stop smoking. Yeah, stop smoking. Get something else to replace smoking if there is.
Maybe
You know.
channel the energy somewhere
Oh
else.
yeah. So it just to stop smoking. Smoking is not good. If it is good, why should they say smoking? Like smokers are liable
Meant
to
to
die
die young,
young.
exactly.
Nobody wants to die. At
Yeah.
least the much I know.
Yes.
So why do you want to do what to make you die young? Sometimes you're just bound to these demons, and you can't just
Yeah.
free yourself.
Mm.
And again, peer pressure,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
societal norm,
Yes.
status symbol.
And all
Because this
that.
guy smoke,
And
I'll
all.
smoke too.
True.
You can live a clean life. Well, in Africa, in Nigeria, there's a pigeon say last something go kill. How do they
Man,
talk am again? Say
last something go kill a man.
something go kill a man. But I don't think it's fair for smoking to
To
kill
kill
you.
it. Exactly.
You see, a lot of things kill people these days. Actually, the
Sorry.
days that poverty and starvation kills people are gone. I'm
Mm.
not saying that there are no regions in the world where you have starvation and
Yeah.
poverty, but these
Yeah.
are usually the war-torn areas in the world. But high level of social living and affluence and
Yes.
overeating
Yeah.
has killed more people
Wow.
than starvation killing
Mm.
people, and that's just what you have. Even in the regular clinics today, what do you see? Children that are obese,
I know, honestly.
ladies and guys that are obese,
Wow.
having effect of alcohol, dementia, and
Hmm.
smoke and its complication. This
Hmm.
is this is not hunger.
Oh, wow.
So these things kill more people
Hmm.
than what hunger does.
Yeah.
Kills more people than what hunger does. Hunger doesn't kill people so much anymore. Yeah, so for women who are pregnant already and are
Yeah.
smoking, a
Hmm.
lot of studies have shown it that they're likely going to have some complications with pregnancy.
Okay.
Placenta senescence, that is when
Wow.
placenta is incapable of sustaining a
The
pregnancy
pregnancy.
to a
Wow.
logical end.
Hmm.
That's one of the things. Then preterm or premature delivery
Delivery.
is
Wow.
common with them.
Wow.
So although you have some other studies that disclaim it, and we have to understand the politics of studies. I'm a
Yeah.
scientist.
Hmm.
Um, if you're making a study that's going to affect some group of people's business,
Yeah.
they also will sponsor another study
Hmm.
that will counter your study, so that
True.
the two knowledge or two informations will be out there to
Yeah.
confuse the people.
People.
Okay, you say
Yes.
this study says this, then somebody
Mm-mm.
quotes from the other end, but
Yeah.
yet another studies which has a bigger population,
Yeah.
well systematic, well
I
this,
know
well that, well
that.
randomized, says
Yeah.
smoking doesn't kill anybody
Mm-mm.
young. Crap.
Yes, that's
So
true.
yes, we have to understand the politics of business
Yeah.
and the real science of
Yes.
education that we have. So premature delivery is there.
Mm.
uh Restriction of growth of the baby in the womb is also part of it,
Wow. Okay.
in addition to miscarriages.
Mm.
Smoking cause early menopause.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, cause early menopause,
Hmm.
because some of the components are anti-estrogens. They damage the
Hmm.
estrogen receptors and all
Okay.
of that. So you begin to have all these unnecessary symptoms of
Symptoms.
menopause. So
Wow.
smoking caused that. So why do you have to just do
Do
all this
all
stuff?
this. Honestly, wow.
Why do you have to do all this stuff? I was tempted to say that cocaine may even be safer, but the level of stupid addiction and social misbehavior associated with cocaine is just in a class of its own.
Mm.
You start something, you just cannot stop it. You just
Yeah.
want to be in cloud 10,
Mm.
feeling good all
All
the
the
time.
time.
That's a deception. It's a deception. And today the world is battling drugs, battling drugs, battling drugs,
Yeah.
battling drugs.
This is just a lot.
So yeah, there's a lot that smoking does. So
Yeah.
if you want to get pregnant or you're having challenge getting pregnant and some of these things are the vices you are associated with, you stop it. Even if
Mm.
you go to to internal medicine, for instance, those who are cardiologists, who are nephrologists, who are hematologists, somebody comes with hypertension, heart failure. Part of what they ask for is whether or not you smoke. And if you're smoking, one of the treatment is stop
Stop
smoking,
smoking. Mm.
because smoking is linked to everything that is bad in the human system.
System.
Then smoking causes aging.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
my field now.
Mm.
In the theory of aging, the DNA helix, you know, uh, there's a part of the DNA, the chromosome we call the telomeres, which is the
Mm.
tail of the DNA.
Yeah.
Smoking, the tail, the shortening of the DNA, of the tail of the DNA, is
Yes.
one of the theories of aging.
Wow.
You understand?
Mm.
So if you do a lot of smoking and expose yourself to a lot of stressful events,
Yes.
the tail of the DNA gets shortened, and
Wow.
so you have accelerated aging.
Aging.
So
Okay.
smoking is also a factor for aging, a
Wow.
risk
Wow.
factor for aging. So everything about smoking is just not good.
Yeah, so dear viewers, there's just a lot about this whole alcohol, smoking, vaping thing. I know some people that have even had accidents because they were drunk from alcohol, and I mean I don't think
Mhm.
alcohol does anyone good. And there are some people that, if you know you are someone that maybe could easily get addictive, don't even start. If you're someone that does not have a control over yourself, don't start. So because there are some people that will say, okay, I'm a light drinker. I don't take much. But there are some that once you start, you cannot control yourself. You just keep drinking.
Yeah, and the
So,
world, the world has this view
mm,
that as a man, if you don't smoke,
mm,
you don't drink, that you're not a man.
I don't
And
know.
some ladies, like to roll with guys
Yeah,
that
yeah.
smoke and drink, and that these are real men.
Oh no.
But man, that's a low level of life. It's a low
Yeah.
level of thinking, because how do you use your monies, to buy damnable and destructive substances to
Mm.
consume? So we are the real men. If you ask me, I don't smoke, I don't drink.
Yeah, so cheers to the real men. Oh yeah, so dear viewers, we're not condemning those people that have found themselves so deep into alcoholism and smoking. We're so concerned about your well-being, and that's why we've brought this topic, and we felt we should really talk about it so you're aware of what you're into, and you look for ways to help yourself out of the mishap caused by alcohol, smoking, and vaping. So we really hope that we've been able to give you a great impact, or we hope that we've been able to impact you this evening. Dr. Ken, would you like to say anything to them while as we wrap up?
No.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the much that we'll do today. It's been amazing having your dear viewers stay glued to your screen, and thank you for staying tuned with us. We look forward to seeing you in our next live chat. Bye. Thank you so much, Dr. Ken.
Thank you for not smoking.
Oh.